So 166, just backing up for a second, was Shelo Yitame Kohen Hedyot L'Shar Mesim. So Kohen Hedyot should not be Matame for other Mesim, meaning aside from his relatives. 167, Shelo Yitame Kohen Gadol Vafilu L'Krovav. Kohen Gadol shouldn't be Matame even for his relatives. Yeah, that was the last one we did. 168, Shelo Yikanes Kohen Gadol Im Hames. Kohen Gadol should not enter with a mace. Shnemar Al Kol Nafshos Meis Lo Yavo. Upon all souls of the dead, you shall not come. Kach lamdu mipi hashmuah shu chayav b'val yavo v'chayav b'val yitame. He's chayav in not entering and not becoming tame. So I just looked this up. I don't think we did this last time, right?
We started talking about that.
Did we? Yeah. So it says here, a high priest being under one roof with a dead body. So it's even further distance from Tumah. I think I also didn't realize that the Kohen Gadol had such differences in the relationship to Tumah compared to the regular Kohen. Like I knew that they existed, but I just didn't know there were so many Lo Taasehs that were specifying it.
Yeah, I didn't know.
This next one also, right? Shelo. Oh, sorry, not yet. No, not this next one. Never mind. Shelo yikach kol. Oh, hold on just a second. Did I read the wrong one? In English? Or the numbering is different. What was that?
I think you're correct.
I thought so also, but it's interesting. Because this English here has, for 167, a high priest being under one roof with a dead body, and 168, a high priest defiling himself for any dead person.
Those are.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that made more sense word-wise. Okay, so now we get past the Kohen Tumah stuff. I was just looking at my
okay.
Yeah, my I mean, what's your one? Is your 168 Shlo Yikanes?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what mine is here. But then this seems to say in the Sefer, in the English Sefer Mitzvos. Yeah, I think so. All right, 169 Shlo Yikach Kol Shevet Levi Chelik Ba'aretz. I didn't know that was a Lo Taaseh. I thought that they just weren't given any chelik.
How would they even be over on this?
I guess if they purchased land that belonged to a Shevet. Shnemar and Vanafla Liyevo. Let's look at the Sefer Mitzvos. Sefer Mitzvos doesn't help. Let me look at in the halachos here. So in Shemitah and Yovel, it says Shevet Levi Afal Pi She'en Lahem Chelek Ba'aretz Karnit Stav Yisrael Litin Lahem Arim L'Sheves Mikra Shehem. Okay, fine. Let me see if I can find the particular halacha. So this is the pasuk is Lo Yihye, right? Lo Yihye. Yeah, it says Kol Shevet Levi Musarin Shelo Yinchalu Be'eretz Canaan Hein Musarin Shelo Yitlu Chelek Babiza. That's interesting. B'shah Shekov Shein Es Ha'arim. So they can't take a chelik in the land. I assume that's actual land, and then they can't take any of the spoils when they conquer the cities. Shnemar Lo Yihye LeKohanim Halavim Kol Shevet Levi. Kol Shevet Levi Chelek V'Nachla Im Yisrael Chelek Babiza V'Nachla Ba'aretz. Yeah, so it's both of those. Never heard of this one. Okay, so they got nothing physical. Right, their chelik is Hashem.
Yeah. It's a little bit weird though, because Kohanim can actually end up with land. Because if a person is Makdash land and then they don't redeem it by Yovel, and maybe someone else has to redeem it other than them for this to happen, then at Yovel it goes to the Kohanim.
Weird.
And the Kohanim pay the base Mikdash for the value.
Weird. Yeah, so I wonder how you reconcile that with this.
Yeah.
Seems to be a very obscure question. 170 Shlo Yikach Kol Shevet Levi Chelek Babiza. Oh, so this is a separate Isser then. Never mind then. So Chelek Ba'aretz is the land. Then this one is the Biza. Shlo Yikach Kol Shevet Levi Chelek Babiza B'shas Kibush Aretz. Shnemar Lo Yeh L'Kohanim Halavim. It's also weird. It's always weird to see a mitzvah that focuses on a specific, what we view as a specific historical time of Kibush Aretz, you know?
Yeah, because this is the Doros.
Yeah, right. Yeah, just it feels like it borders on the not counting anything that's Lefizman.
Yeah.
171 Shlo Lasos Korcha Al Hames. Okay, so now it's going back to Avelus related stuff.
Yeah, so
or Avodah Zarah stuff, not to make a bald patch, right, over the dead person. Shnemar Lo Sasim Korcha Bein Einechem Lames. Shall not place a bald spot between your eyes for a mace. It's like ripping out the hair.
I don't know if it's even going back to it or it's just doing it going forward.
Yeah. Shalo. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, that's a strange ordering. Very strange ordering.
It was like Kohanim. Oh, it was Kohanim stuff. Then it did 2 Levim things. And
I mean, I guess this is for for everyone, not just Kohanim and Levim.
Yeah.
So maybe there are no other Lo Taasehs that didn't already fit into one of the other things, any Avilos related Lo Taasehs that didn't fit into the other part.
No more Lo Taasehs for Kohanim.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So this just looks like it's out of place, but it's really just, there's only one thing in this place. 172, Shlo Lechol Behema Tamea. Okay, now we get into, it looks like a completely new thing. Unless you're going to associate maachalos assuros with avodah zarah, but that's like a stretch. Not to eat any non-kosher animal. Shnemar behema, I mean. Shnemar ach azelo sochlu mikol mimale hagera. You shall not eat this from any of the ones that bring up their cud.
Yeah, I think a person could make some sort of very interesting historical argument about that when you're plundering, then like the food.
Yeah, right. I mean, another possibility here, and this is also a stretch, is Rambam does classify the karcha al hames. I think he puts that in Hilchos Avodah Zarah. Let me just look. Hold on. In like Chukos Goyim. Yeah. So you could make a tenuous connection between that and then the maachalos assuros separating us from the other nations. It's just like, it feels like too far removed to be significant.
Yeah.
173 shelo lechol dag tameh shnemar v'sheket lo yihu lachem mibasram lo sochelu. Don't eat non-kosher fish, as it says they shall be disgusting for you. From their flesh do not eat. 174 shelo lechol of tameh. Don't eat a non-kosher bird. Shnemar v'es ela tashaktu min ha'ov. These you shall abominate from the birds. Lo ye'achlu. They shall not be eaten. I don't know why it's in the passive. 175, shlo lechol sheretz ha'of, not to eat swarming flying things. Shnemar v'chol sheretz ha'of tameh hu lachem. Any swarming flying thing is tameh for you. Lo ye'achlu, they should not be eaten. I don't know grammatically what the difference is between ye'achlu and ye'achelu.
Yeah, no,
yeah. 176.
This sounds terrifying.
Shlo lechol sheretz ha'aretz. Not to eat any creeping thing of the earth. Shnemar v'chol hasheretz hasheretz al haaretz. Any sheretz that creeps upon the earth. Sheketu lo yechal. It is a abomination for you. You shall not eat it. Yeah, right. It's true. Even though this one and the previous one both said kol and in the singular. Yep, don't know. Shlo lechol remes haaretz. Not to eat a creepy thing of the earth. Shnemar lo sitamu es nafsho seichem b'chol hasheretz haromes al haaretz. Do not eat any soul in any creepy thing that creeps upon the earth. Wait, so what's the difference between sheretz haaretz and remes haaretz?
It's crawling, it's supposed to be creeping.
Yeah, but practically speaking, what are what falls into each category here? It's interesting. The way that he says it here in the English is for 176, anything which swarms upon the earth, and examples: worms, beetles. I thought this said Cleopatra, Coleoptera. I have no idea what that is. Sounds like a dinosaur. And then under 177 is any creeping thing that breeds in decayed matter. That's how he translates it, which is a very interesting translation. And then in the let's see what the Hebrew is. So the previous one, 176, was Milacho Sheretz Haaretz, Ketolaim Chipusios, I don't know what those are. And then 177, Mechilas Hashratim Hamishavim Mehaipushim. Yeah, things that breed in decayed matter. So that is like, does he give examples? No examples. See, it's weird. It says by this prohibition, okay, let me read in the Hebrew, in the Sefer Mitzvos. Says alpha, so you, he's hiranu achilas hashratim mishavim pushim alpha pish enan min yadua, even though they're not a known species. V'lo yishavu mizachar and keva, they don't come from zachar and nekeva. That's so strange. I've never heard of this one. Unidentified spontaneous generating species. Yeah, I wonder what's in this.
Maybe like maggots.
Well, so that's what I'm not sure about, because in the previous one, he specified tolaim, which I think are maggots. And then in the next one, there's also going to be bugs. Another kind of tola. Next one is let me look in the Minyan mitzvos. Shelo lechol tola'as haperos kishetetze la'avir. So maybe that's specific to peros. Tola'as haperos, that when they emerge into the air. Shneimar lechol hasheretz hasheretz al haaretz lo sochlum. Any sheretz that is shorts on the earth do not eat. And then the Sefer Mitzvah says there, it says living creatures which breed in seeds or fruits once they've emerged and move about on the seed or fruit. Yeah, not familiar with these categories here. Okay. Yeah, we just lump them all into bugs. 79. Shalol lechol sheretz hamayim, the creepy things of the water. Shneimar al tashachtu es nafsho sechem b'chol hasheretz hasheretz. So what is that then?
Like pond flies?
I guess, right? That's swarming. I don't even know, because I feel like in my mind, this is already prohibited by dog tame, because that's anything that is in the water that doesn't have fins and scales, but this is a separate category within that. Okay, weird. And then in the Sefer Mitzvos here for this one, he says, so we are not allowed to eat any sheretz whatsoever without specification. Bein sheretz ha'of, bein sheretz ha'mayim, bein sheretz ha'aretz. So he's putting that all under this one. But didn't we already have Lo Taaseh about that?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I don't know what's going on here. 180, shelo lechol mesa, not to eat a mesa, which you'll see what he means by that. Shneimar lo sochlu kol nevela. So that's the nevela.
It's a mesa of the behemoth.
Right. Next is shelo lechol trefa, not to eat a trefa. Shneimar uvasar basade trefa lo sechelu. Yeah, how do we translate trefa here? Wounded, maimed. They don't translate it here. It says, yeah, there's no good translation that comes to this all. It literally means like torn.
Yeah, I'd say ailing.
Ailing. Yeah. I'm not sure if there's an English word that encompasses all of them.
Yeah, I think ailing is like more accurate than in terms of like what it means practically. Right,
because it includes the internal ailings. Yeah. 182 shelo lechol iver min hachai. So it's interesting. Lo sochal hanefesh im habasar. Don't eat the soul with the flesh. All right, so this is an interesting placement also, because I could see two reasons why he should have led with this one. One, oh no, I wasn't even thinking that. Yeah. I was like, I haven't heard that before. One is that this is more of a, like when it says not to eat a mesa, in this section, yeah. When it says not to eat a mesa, then to me that corresponds to the assuros of shchita, right? So like iver min hachai is the most egregious form of not doing shchita, like when you eat the animal and it's still alive. Like first thing is that you have to eat, you should only, like conceptually speaking, the most animalistic form, and this is why it's also for B'nai Noach, is like the most basic like issur in this area is don't eat an animal while it's still alive. It has to be dead. And not only does it have to be dead, but it has to be dead through shchita, Yeah. And then secondly, this could go first because it's for B'nai Noach, like it's more basic.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about it.
The only weird exception I can think of is you have that weird case where if you do shchita on an animal and it's still kicking around, and then you take something from it while it's kicking, then it's usher for ben Noach because of iver min hachai, but it's mutter for Yisrael because you did shchita on it. So like that's the only sense I could see in which it's like post shchita mitzvah,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. This is not a very good explanation. But one of the things that's in the issur of treifa, according to the Rambam formulates it, is if you just tear flesh off an animal with a whole limb. That is this issur of treifa.
Interesting. So then this would be a subcategory of treifa, or
further,
a consequence,
yeah.
or what's not the word I'm looking for? Whatever,
It's a further
elaboration.
Yeah.
183 shelo lechol gid hanasheh shnemar al kein lo yochlu b'nei Yisrael es gid hanasheh. Okay, that one. If you ask me where to put it, I wouldn't know where to put it in this grouping. 184 shelo lechol dam, not to eat blood. Shnemar lechol dam lo sofelo. Don't eat any blood.
He's doing the whole animal.
Uh-huh.
Now he's doing part of it.
Oh, okay. All right. Now that, yeah, you're right. That makes sense. And now this is within a part of an animal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then shelo lechol chelev, another part of an animal. Yeah, that's good. That makes sense. Shnemar kol chelev shor v'chesev v'eiz lo sofelo. Right. And this actually was a good flow from the non-kosher animals.
Yeah. Right.
That's the entire animal for all time. And then of the kosher ones, then things that, okay, that makes a lot of sense. All right. Shelo lechol dam, we said shelo lechol chelev, shnemar kol chelev shor v'chesev v'eiz lo sofelo. Don't eat any chelev of an ox or a sheep or a goat. What's the deal? Is chelev of a chaya totally mutter, or it's just or is it asur midrabanan?
They either don't have chelev or is asur.
Like physically they don't have chelev?
I don't think that I don't know if there's like a physiological distinction between chelev and shimon.
Yeah, he says it here in the Sefer Mitzvos, milachol chelev behema tahora. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I know this Gemara in Priestess, but talks about whether there's any time that something is called chelev that is mutter.
Interesting.
And the answer that gives is that the sheep's tail is called, like the fat of the sheep's tail is called chelev, but it's mutter.
Does it bring up?
It doesn't bring up chayas as far as I remember.
Does it bring up hevel? That he brought from the chelev of his sheep.
I don't think so.
Interesting, because that was mutter to him, I guess. Okay, 186. Shelo levashel basar b'chalav, shnemar lo savashel gdi b'chalav vimo. Don't cook a kid in his mother's milk, and that's cooking. Then shelo lechol basar b'chalav, not to eat milk and meat and milk. Shnemar lo savashel gdi b'chalav vimo. Pam shnia. So the second time it says it, it's teaching the second one. Kach lamnu mipi hashmua. She'echal isur bishul ve'echal isur achila. First one's for bishul, second one's for achila. Yeah, that's strange. Yeah, what's the thing with the hana is that it's that really there is a isser for that, and then even though bishul's even though achila stems from hana, then that's a separate isser. Yeah.
And the drasha is from the fact that it says the pasuk a third time.
Yeah, right. Let me see if he mentioned the Sefer Mitzvos. Ooh, boy, he has a long thing in the Sefer Mitzvos. I'm not going to read that now. It's Bekius here. Shelo.
Maybe flag it.
Yeah, I'll flag it. Okay. Next is shelo lechol basar shor haniskal. Shnemar lo ye'acha as basaro. It's flesh and avin. I wonder how many times. Like, I wonder how frequent that was. When I mean, I guess it's anytime it kills a man.
Yeah.
I guess you're gonna be tempted for it because it's why let it go to waste. Yeah. Next is kufpei tes shelo lechol pas tuvua chadasha kodem pesach. Not to eat bread from new grain before Pesach. Shnemar v'lechem etc. Lo sochlu. Bread you shouldn't eat.
Yeah.
So we're still in Yisrael Achil, but we moved on from animals, seemingly.
Wait, so with the short niskal, wouldn't that already be asur because it's sort of nevela? It's like a second isur.
That's also true.
It's not like,
I never thought about that.
It's not like unless it's like you threw a stone and it was like razor sharp.
In the Sefer Mitzvos. He says, "He's hiram echol basar shor haniskal vafilu nishchatehu kodem sheniskal." I guess you shecht it.
No, I guess it means if a person did it.
Yeah, meaning that like let's say like you didn't realize that the throne was off to the shechting pillars and off to the skila stone.
Yeah.
So like you shechted it and you're like, whoops,
Yeah.
So it still has a din shor haniskal even though it didn't actually get stoned. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I never thought about that question though. 189 shelo lechol. We read that. 190 shelo lechol kali min hachadash. Shnemar v'kali lo sochlo. Is that roasted grain? Roasted kernels? I always forget the kali, caramel. I forgot which one's which. 1 180.
Oh, Carmel is the next one.
Sorry, 190. Yeah. So 190 is roasted grain. Oh, and then Carmel is fresh ears of grain.
Wait, so what's the distinction between these two and the first one?
First one is bread, he says specifically, made from chadash. This is if it's roasted. There's a separate isurim. Yeah. Shalol carmel mitua chadasha shnemar v'carmel lo sochlu. Don't eat any carmel. I wonder how that word came to be associated to the English caramel. I don't know. 192 shalol orla, not to eat orla, fruit in the first 3 years. Shnemar shalosh shanim yel lechem arilim lo yechal. For 3 years they should be for you arilim, they shall not be eaten. 193 shalol lechol kilei hakerem, not to eat crossbred vines. Or not vines, vineyard produce. Shnemar pen tikdash hamleah hazera ashar tizra utfuas hakarim. Lest you say, I never know how to translate this. It's another one where my eyes just glaze over it. Pen tikdash hamleah hazera ashar tizra utfuas hakarim. Lest the fullness of the seed be forfeited. That's pen tikdash, is how they're translating it here. Okay, fine. Zehu Israchila. This is referring to an Israchila. 194. Shlo lishos yain nesach. Interesting. He puts this here. I mean, he puts it in maachalos assuros, also in the Mishneh Torah. But you could easily say that this would go. Yeah. Shnemar asher chelev zvachim o yochelu yishto yein nesicham. I didn't know it was learned from Hazino. That fat of its offering they eat and they drink the wine of its libations. I didn't realize we learned 8 mitzvahs from Hazino. Strange.
I only just realized that this is like a separate isser. Like when we just read it out, like I just assumed it was like isser of a zara, and this is like a key, like,
right?
Like a main way that this happens.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question would be if you drank yain nesach, is that also being over the isser of takrovis of avodah zara, something that was offered to it? I would think so, because it is offered to it. 195 not to eat in the manner of a guzzler and a gorger. Shnemar benenu zeh zolel v'soveh. Our son is a guzzler and a gorger. Yeah, the weird thing about this one is like we usually think of the mitzvah as the mitzvah of ben sorah or moreh. We don't think of it as a lo taaseh that prohibits you from being a zolel v'soveh. You know?
Yeah, I guess I was always like kind of like slightly bothered by the fact that he's like not doing any assurim by that.
Right, but here he is, I guess. Yeah, I wonder. I also don't remember if the isser is defined by like the exact parameters of the ben sorah moreh, or if it's like broader than that. Rambam says Zola v'soved b'machal v'mishta b'meha narus u'v'tanaim ha'mutuarim b'din sorah moreh. Yeah, so if you act exactly like the ben sorah moreh, then you're over this isser. That's how he introduces it, at least. Yeah. Okay. Fine. Next. Oopsies. Oh, I just skipped the page. Okay, I gotta go all the way back. What number were we on?
195.
195. Okay. Shalolechol v'lishos. Oh yeah. 196. Shalolechol b'yom hatzom. Not to eat on Yom Kippur. Shnemar kichol hanefesh asher las'uneh v'gomer. And you saw the
from Yisuri Achila to
Yisuri Achila Yom Tovim, or of Zmanim Moadim, right? Because then next you got Shelo lechol chametz b'Pesach. Shnemar lo yechal chametz. You should not eat chametz. It is interesting though that the eating on the Yom Tzom is not like an isra on a certain type of entity, you know, whereas all these other things are.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess Zol is also not. 197 Shelo lechol chametz b'Pesach. We read that. Shelo lechol tarovis chametz. Shnemar kol machmetzes lo sovela. That's a separate lo taaseh. Not to eat a mixture of chametz. 199 Shelo lechol chametz achar chatzos yom arba asar. Separate isser. Not to eat chametz after midday of the 14th. Shnemar lo yosocha alav chametz. Do not eat chametz over it. It meaning the Korban Pesach. Reish Shelo yira'eh chametz. That chametz should not be seen. So now we're transitioning out of Yisrael achila.
That's why if you know if you have chametz in your house, you gotta close your eyes.
Shneimar v'lo yirei lecha chametz. Chametz should not be seen with you. 201 shlo yimatze chametz. Chametz should not be found. Shneimar or lo yimatze b'vatechem. Leaven should not be found in your houses. 202 shlo yishteh nazir yain v'lo davar shenis aref bo yain v'tam katam yain. Okay, nazir should not drink wine nor anything that has wine mixed into it, whose taste is like the taste of wine. Or anything that tastes like wine. Whole mishras anavim, as it says, anything that was any soaked grapes. I don't know. Vafilu hechmit hayayin o davar shenis arev bo hayayin. Even if the wine became vinegar, or something became mixed into the wine, harzeh asur alav. It is asur upon him. Shneimar chometz yayin v'chometz shechar lo yishteh. Wine vinegar and shechar vinegar you should not drink. Elaborate there.
Yeah, it's really he explained all these things that seem like halachos about what is considered yayin.
Yeah. Also, we had a cluster of nadarim ones, didn't we earlier? Or were those only essays?
We have lots of essays about.
Do we have anything about the Nazir so far in those essays?
I think about not violating your neder.
No, it looks like. Yeah, but it looks like this is the first Los essay that mentions Nazir explicitly.
Maybe.
Yeah, going to my search, my Control F.
I trust the Control F.
Yeah, you do. Shlo yochal anavim lachim, that he should not eat moist grapes. He shouldn't not eat moist grapes. Shlo yochal anavim yaveshim, shouldn't eat dry grapes or raisins, as the kids call them these days. Should not eat dried grapes. Reish hey shlo yochal chartzanim, is that grape seeds? Let's see.
205.
Thanks. 205 is kernels of grapes. I call them seeds. I don't know. I assume this is the same thing.
Yeah,
I don't think it
have kernels.
I mean, are the grapes with kernels the same, like the kernel-like things in grapes? Are those just like more matured grape seeds, like the kind you have to spit out?
Yeah.
So what's the definition for kernel? Maybe is the question.
Not that.
Yeah, I don't know. 206 yochal zugin. The Tanaim. Shnemar vad zag locha. You know what zugin are?
It means pears.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, zug means pear.
Oh yeah, that I know. Yeah, that's why I made the Tana joke. But
yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah, husks.
What?
Should not eat husks of grapes.
Oh, it's a zag, not a zug.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what a husk of grape is. Grape husks. Grapes I eat don't have husks.
Do the peel?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Maybe remove the flesh of the grape. You can have just the peel.
I don't know.
Husk.
Just a husk.
Maybe if it's pressed.
Yeah, something, some procedure there. All right. Shalo yitame hanazir lames. He should not become tame lames. Shnemar la'aviv u'imo lo yitama lahem b'mosam. He should not become tame for his father and mother in their death. 208. Shalo yikanes b'ohal mes. He should not enter into the tent of a dead. Shnemar al nefesh mes lo yavo. He should not come into the soul of the dead.
It's interesting that Ohel is a separate isser for him and also for God.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, not for regular Kohen. That's just part of his regular Tuma thing. Lo yigalech nazir. They should not shave. Shnemar ta'ar los yavar al rosho. The blade should not pass over his head. So this is another thing. Also, is I guess. Theoretically, you can ask the question, even though you could argue that he could have ordered it anyway, but what dictated the order of the three Nazir things he mentioned? I mean, I guess Yisrael Achila, he kind of transitioned from there. And then mace and then shaving.
I wonder if it has to do with what the next thing is.
Yeah, we'll see. That's what happened last time.
Which is also cutting.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, that is a strange jump. Not to harvest all the field. Do not finish off the corners of your field in your harvest. So this is the Lo Taaseh corresponding to Peah. Shlo lilkot hashibolim hanochlos b'shas k'tirash number of leket k'tir chalos lachit. Do not gather the stalks that fell at the time of harvest, as it says, the leket of your harvest do not gather. So that's the corresponding to leket. 212. Shlo yivtzor ololos ha-kerem, not to pick the baby grapes of the kerem. Shnemar of chamer olel, don't pick the baby grapes. 213. Shlo lilkot peret ha-kerem. What do we say the parrot was? Shnemar uferet chamer lachit. Is that the ones that fell?
I don't remember. I think it's the fifth thing. I don't remember what it.
This is two.
I think there's like Japan, those are the ones that run those, and there's also old and tart.
Yeah. Wait, this is 213. Yeah, fallen grapes. So what was fallen grapes? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, I think the mnemonic device I came up with last time in my head, I don't think I said this, was that the parrot, you have a parrot on your shoulder reminding you, like, drop the grape. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you know, as someone who has a bird, I can say that he's just like, whenever he's like trying to do something, like let's say like eat something or whatever, he just drops a lot.
Okay, so that's another way around.
Yeah.
214. Shlo likach omer hashichacha, not to take the forgotten sheaf. So those are the ones you leave on the field. Shnemar lo sashuv lakachto, as it says, don't return to take it. Same thing for all trees. There is shichacha. Shnemar lo safat er acharacha. What does that mean? There's no equivalent of like. Did they do the same thing with tree stuff, like bundling it in the field? Yeah, it says of the soil or a tree. Yeah, maybe they did that then. Okay. 215. Shlo lizro ziraim, not to plant mixed species of seeds. Shnemar sadcha lo Israel kilaim. Do not sow your field with kilaim. Now, where was the other kilaim mentioned that we just had? That was. Oh, okay. So this is not plant. Wait.
This is planting.
This is right, but I'm saying like this is Isra Zriya. The other one was Isra Chila.
Yeah, and so this is with Zriya stuff. That was with Chila stuff.
Yeah. Shelo lizro tvua o yarak bekerem, not to sow a produce or vegetable in a vineyard. Yeah. Shnemar lo sizra karmachal kilaim. Do not plant your vineyard kilaim. 217. Shelo laharbia behema min im she'eno mino. Not to crossbreed behema, one species with something that's not its species. Shnemar behemtecha lo sarbia kilaim. You shall not mate your behema kilaim. 218. Shelo yase malacha b'shnei mine behema kecha. That's also a form of kilaim. Right? It's a non-breeding based one, but not to work do malacha with two species of behema like one. Shnemar lo sachar b'shor uvachamor yachtav. Don't plow with your ox and donkey together. Shelo lachson behema b'shas malacha b'davar she'ocheles mimenu v'nehenes. That's a weird one. I know this is lo sachsom shor b'disha, but I never knew how to translate that. Don't muzzle.
Yeah, there's no muzzle. I think there's no muzzle in ox in its threshing.
Like
yeah,
dash, right. With something ocheles mimenu v'nehenes. So what does that mean though? To prevent it from eating?
Yeah, you're not to not let it eat as it's working.
Right. Oh, preventing a beast from eating of the produce amidst which it is working. Interesting. Shema lo sachsom shor b'disho. Yeah. 220.
We transitioned from so kilayim in this like planting
to like behema usage.
To behema to kilayim behema to working them kilayim, another issue of working animals.
Yeah. Right.
To working the land.
Yeah. That's the transition. That's good. 220. Shelo lavot adama b'shavi'is, not to work the land in the seventh year. Shnemar sadcha lo sijra. You should not plant sow your field. 221. Shelo lavot ilan b'shvi'is, not to work a tree in the seventh year. Shnemar v'charmacha lo sizmor. Don't prune your vineyard.
I feel like that could be like a weird colloquialism, like just work the tree, like an exhausting.
I thought you were saying pruning your vineyard. Sounds like an idiom. 222. Shelo liktzor sfiche shavi'is kader shekochim b'sharan hashanim. Sfichim are the wild growths. not to harvest the wild growths of the 7th year in the way that you harvest it in the other years. I always like reading that pasuk. Flows very poetically, but I got to make sure I got the right. Reaping a self-grown plant, wild plant is how I translated it. 220. What was that?
It's a self-starter.
Yeah. 223. Less of peros ha'ilan bashvis keder she'osin b'chol shana. So that's the equivalent there, is not to gather in the fruits that grow on the tree in the way that you gather them in the entire year. Don't harvest the grapes of your field. Don't harvest the grapes of your niziracha, of your setting aside. How do we translate that? Thy undressed vine thou shalt not gather. I don't know what an undressed vine is. 224. Lavod bishnas yovel, not to work in the yovel year. Bein adama bein ilan, whether the earth or a tree. Shnemar ba lo sizrao, do not plant. 225. Shlo liksor sefiche yovel kishar hashanim, same thing. Not to harvest the wild growths of the yovel year like the other years. Shnemar bo lo siktur seficheha, do not harvest its wild growths, its self-starters. 226. Shlo le'asaf peros yovel ka'asiva shar hashanim, not to gather in the fruits of yovel like you gather it in on the other years. Shnemar bo lo siktur nizireha, don't do the undressed tress thing. 227. Shlo limkor sadeh be'eretz Yisrael litzmisus. Oh, I always forget how to translate litzmisus. Conditionally?
I think it's
indefinitely. The opposite of conditionally. Do not sell a field in Eretz Yisrael indefinitely. Shnemar ha'aretz lo simachar litzmisus. The land shall not be sold indefinitely. In perpetuity, I think is what article says.
Yes.
Same thing. 228. Shlo l'shanos migrash halavim usadosehem. What is this? Not to change. What's the migrash? We had that phrase, didn't we?
You can't make ravines, cities into fields or fields into cities.
Shnemar usdei migrash arehem lo yimacher. You should not sell the. What was the little translation migrash? How do we had this question before?
I don't know.
Does it have to do with gerushin? Open lands. Yeah, that's how they translate it. Yeah, open lands. So mipiashmo we learned that this is an isser to change it. Okay, then it goes from here into Levim, right? 229. Shlo lazov es alevim, not to abandon the Levim. Shnemar hisham lecha pentazov es alevi. Be careful not to abandon the Levi. Ela nosnin lahem matnosem umasamchin osam behem b'chol rega v'regal. So that's like a lo taaseh of not tending to them properly. It's like a mix between the matanos kahuna and then like matanos aniyim, right? It has like elements of both. They have matanos that you have to give them, but you also have to be mesameach them. 230. Shlo yisba halava'a she'avra alaha shavis. What is this? Not to demand a loan that passed through the 7th year. Shemar lo yigos Israel. Not to collect a loan. That makes sense. That makes more sense. Yeah.
The 7th year passed.
Right. 231. Shlo yimana milhalvos le'ani mipnei hashmita. Not to refrain from loaning to a poor person because of the shmita. Shnemar hisham lecha pen yihye davar. Be, as it says, be careful of yourself lest there be a something. Ze'aklal kol makom shnemar hishamar o pen o all ino ela mitzvos lo taaseh. Fine time to mention that. Have we not had a hishamar before? I guess not. Okay.
Yeah, we're already like more than halfway through.
Right.
Like,
that definitely seems like a sefer mitzvos type thing because it's just like it's not a lashon of. I mean, it's beware for yourself. Lest is not a lashon of isser, right? But all is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why he has to say that for all three of them. 232.
A pen sounds like a result.
Yeah, a consequence, right? Yeah. 232. Shelo lihimana milahachayos laani umiliten lo mashu tzarech. So that's the lo taaseh corresponding to tzedakah. You should not refrain from giving life to the ani and from giving him what he needs. Shnemar lo sa'amet es levavecha. You shall not strengthen your heart or harden your heart.
Yes, because it's harden your heart.
Yeah.
That's,
Right. Nimsa hanosin tzedakah ose mitzvos aseh. There, it turns out the one who gives tzedakah is doing mitzvos aseh. V'alami malin me'enav min tzedakah yaser al shebitul aseh avar al lo taaseh. Why does he have to say that? You say that for a lot of them. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, this fits in really well with the Mishneh we did last Monday with the tzedakah tatil mimaves. He puts the lo taaseh here in terms of lihimana melahachayos.
Yeah.
In terms of like giving life. Yeah. 233, shlo l'shaleach eved ivri rekam k'sheyetzi chofshi, not to send so did we switch to a different thing here? I mean, I guess this is related to tzedakah in the sense of its monetary provisions.
Yeah.
Not to send an eved ivri free, empty-handed when he goes out free. Shnamar lo sashalachenu rekam, you have to give him stuff, right? Don't send him out empty-handed.
Yeah.
234, shlo yisba ha'ani bechovo k'sheyedeh shehu ani. You should not demand the debt of a poor person when you know that he's poor.
Yeah.
You should not afflict him.
Let's say you lend a poor person money.
Right.
You shouldn't demand to collect from him if you know he's still in money.
Right. Shnemar lo sihi lo kenoshe. You shouldn't be like a noshe is like an oppressor.
Yeah. Like you lend the guy money. And he
creditor. It says.
He doesn't have the money to pay you back yet. You can't go to him to collect it.
Yeah, I gotta look this up though. What the noshe is that like related to gid hanashe, which I also don't know what that means. Literally, what pasuk is this? 24. Lo ti lo kenoshe. Kenoshe. Shoresh is nasha, lend or become a creditor. All right, fine. So what it is. Okay, next. 235, shlo l'halvos beribis l'Yisrael, not to lend with interest to a Jew. Do not give money to him b'neshech uv'marbis. How do we translate
with
both the distinction between those?
With extortion and
interest. Okay.
I think that's
Then shlo lilvos beribis, not to borrow with ribis. Is that right? Shnemar lo sashich leachicha. Do not sashich. I get mixed up with these interest words here.
I think it's nesa.
Right, but what's the conjugation?
No idea.
Okay, yeah.
I was hoping the conjugation is this.
Let not the interest be taken from thee, is how Torah Mopeh explains it. Not to be bitten by the malbeh, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Right. Don't let it be taken from you. Okay. I don't think I realized that there were two isurim.
Yeah.
We're getting into financial stuff, aren't we here?
We definitely are.
Yeah. Okay. We were going at such a good clip there. So
maybe,
not
we don't go any clip for this.
Maybe. How you want to translate this one?
Which one?
Sorry. 237. So I'll read this in the Sefer Mitzvos here. We are forbidden to take part in any transaction between borrower and lender involving a loan at interest, whether as surety, witness, or notary drawing up the contract between them for the payment of the interest on which they've agreed. So you can't partake of it in any part of the interaction.
You can't be involved in the process.
Yeah, I didn't know this either. I know this was a separate los association. You should not place neshek upon him. 238, shlo acher pu'ula sachir, not to delay the payment of a hired worker. Don't leave it overnight. 239, shlo yimashkin bal chov bizroa, not to
collateralize.
Yeah, this is not money verb. Not to take a pledge from a debtor by force. There you go. That's a good translation. Bizroa, yeah. Lo salvo. That's a good way to say it. Lo salvo el beso la avot avoto. Don't come to his house. La avot avoto. That's another one I know. To fetch his pledge is how they say it in here. Shalo. What does that mean? Just like when you try to.
If you loan someone money and he's not.
Then you just try to like take something to
make sure he pays you back.
To pledge it, make it a pledge against his will.
Yeah.
Not to withhold the collateral of a poor person when he needs it, right? That's the don't keep it overnight. Don't sleep with his avot. Don't sleep with his avot with you. Return to him at night because he needs it at night. 241.
I assume it's a collateral like
that he needs.
He's explaining the way the pasuk is worded.
Yeah.
Not that he needs all collateral.
Yeah, right. Like this it was his blanket or his cloak or something like that. Yeah. Shlo lamashkin almana. I did not know this. This was an isser. Don't take collateral from a widow. I assume it doesn't mean don't make her a collateral, right? Shemar lo sachavol beged almana. Yeah, beged almana. Well, sachavol. What's sachavol? Like that's What does that mean here? Chaval is one of those words that can have like flexible meanings.
Yeah, I have no idea this is an isser.
Yeah.
Also, can we say for mitzvos this one?
Yeah. Say for mitzvos. Meaning read it or flag it?
Read it if it's not too long.
Yeah, sure. What number is this?
241.
Oh wow, I gotta skip a lot. We haven't been Sefer Mitzvosing in the Hebrew for a while. 240. Oh, very short. Here's your Shlola Mashkin Almana ben Aniya ben Ashira, whether she's poor or rich. Shnemar lo sachvol beged almana. That's it.
Wow. That's like this is like a perfect example of like the type of Israel that people can be over without even knowing that they're because people don't know DNA monos.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If you're just like reading through this, like even just this list of DNA monos things, you'll be like, oh, this is an Israel that I never knew about.
Yeah. Yep, that's true. Busha. Shlo lachavol kelim she'osin bahem ochel nefesh. I see. I'm still not getting this lashon lachavol. Shlo lachavol, taking in pledge is how they translate it. Not to take in pledge food utensils. I had no idea this was a thing. I knew this pasuk lo yachavol rechaim v'rechav. Don't take a pledge for a millstone, upper millstone.
Lower millstone, I think.
Yeah.
I think it's
the nether or upper millstone to pledge. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a strange example of a kli ochel nefesh. You know, like it's like a very industrial type one. It's not like talking about forks and spoons.
Yeah, it's more. I think it's teaching the extent of it.
Yeah.
It's just like anything that is used for the food making process.
Okay, this is still monetary, but from the biggest perspective of monetary, which is the self that owns the money. Yeah. Right? Don't kidnap. So did we have a seamless transition? Fairly, like I feel like we haven't had a abrupt transition yet.
Yeah. We had like flowing monetary things.
Yeah.
Although it could just be flowing because it's all monetary things.
No, I'm saying this whole day though. I feel like we haven't.
We had the.
Oh, I mean the maachalos assuros one, early on.
The very first thing was about.
Yeah.
It was mace to Levi stuff.
Yeah.
To karacha to achila.
Okay, that was the one. Yeah, but since then it's been pretty smooth flowing.
Yeah.
Next is shlo lignov mamon, not to steal money. Shnemar lo tignovu, ze gonevas mamon, that is stealing money. Then shlo ligzol, not to rob. So see here, it's different, right? Because in Nezikin he goes in ascending order. Mm-hmm. Here he starts off with gonev nefesh, then less severe is gonev mamon, then gozel is more severe than geneva in certain ways. I guess that one's debatable. Shnemar lo sigzol, you shouldn't rob. Shlo lahasik gavulos, not to move property boundaries. Shemar lo sasi guvul re'acha, don't move the boundary of your friend.
I know this is like that.
I only know that one. I mean, I know it from Mishneh Torah, but I also know because there are a couple of psukim in Mishlei about that.
Yeah.
Reish Mem Zayin.
I'm very interested to know what Mishlei has to say about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some good ones.
Yeah, I feel like that like lends itself well.
Yeah.
Being a thing that like you wouldn't think has like Mishlei consequences, but something.
It's exactly the angle Mishlei takes. Shalom lashok, not to. I always forget the definition of oshek. Extort, but 147. Usurp our debts is what it says here. Shemar lo sashok es reacha, to retain them and refuse payment. Okay, so that's different than what I said. Extort.
Oh, it's to not pay back a debt.
Yeah. Lo sashok es reacha. Don't be sashok your friend. Okay. Shlo.
I'm noting that. I think maybe it's in descending order because this way the end can flow into other
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, that's a good categorical consideration to take into account in the Sefer
Which-
Mitzvos.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is like that game with the snake where like it eats stuff and gets longer. Like you have to like think about where you're gonna go now because of the room that you're gonna need the snake to in the future. Weird analogy, but not to deny, I think, possession of the property of your friend or the mammon of your friend. Then then not to swear on the denial of having the money of your friend. Not to swear an oath, false oath regarding the money that belongs to your friend that you have in your possession. Not to what's the translation of ona? Oppress, afflict, not to afflict in business transactions. How do they say it here? Wronging. Okay, fine. No, it's a wrong. One should not wrong his friend. That's not when you like force him to try to sell, right?
I think it's when you like overcharge.
Oh yeah?
It's like significantly overcharge.
Let's read it. This is none, right? Okay, that's not telling us. Let me look at the halachos.
I know it's monetary oppression.
Yeah, right. We're forbidden to wrong each other in the business of buying and selling. Okay, so it says, overcharging is one category. Yeah. Oh, I'm thinking of one of the ways to violate lo sachmod. I think if you pressure him to sell, but yeah, this is overcharging. Okay, good. Reishnun Aleph Shelo Yone B'Devarim, not to wrong him in words. Remember, Lo Sonu Ish Es Amiso V'Yaresa and Lokacha. Do not wrong each man his friend, his fellow, and he shall fear his God. Zo Ona As Devarim. Yeah, I always was curious as to why there's an Isra of Ona As Devarim and Lashon Hara. If like, I'm gonna flag this one.
Yeah.
Ona As Devarim. Because when this would be also Lashon Hara.
Yeah. Well, it also links to the next two.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Right. Especially with the ger one. Shalom lahonos as a ger b'devarim, not to wrong the ger with words. Nemar b'ger lo soneh. And then Rishon Gimel shalom lahonos as a ger b'mechach umimkar, not to wrong the ger monetarily. Nemar v'lo sil chatenu, don't oppress him, right? Because when you violate one with the ger, you violate all of them.
You violate the two general ones and the specific one for the ger.
Right.
Not the other one for the ger.
Don't you? If you wrong him in money, aren't you also? Oh, so you're saying if you wrong him in money.
If you wrong him in money, you're over Shlo Yonah B'Mekach Memkar, Shlo Lahonos as a ger B'Mekach Memkar, and Shlo Yonah B'Devarim.
Yeah, right.
But not Shlo Lahonos as a ger B'Devarim.
Uh-huh.
I think it's like that. And then the reverse.
Uh-huh.
It's
a strange cluster.
Yeah.
Reish nun.
It's an odd interaction.
Yeah. Not to return an Eved who fled to Eretz Yisrael to its masters in Chutz La'aretz. Shneimar lo saskir Eved el Adonav. Don't saskir, sequester? I think I'm just saying that because it sounds similar to saskir. Don't deliver a master unto his master a bondman. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I've never looked into that one.
Yeah.
Not to wrong this Eved. He shall dwell with you in your midst. Batovlo, in his goodness, do not wrong him. I have no idea what that is.
I think it's something having to do with him wanting to live in Israel.
Yeah. Look at this.
I don't.
Sefer Mitzvos. Wait. No, I'm looking at the wrong one.
544.
Wait a minute. 55. Wait.
Not 544. That's just not. Accurate.
254. 54. Oh, okay. I went one too far. Yeah, he's Rami Lahashiv Eved Shebarach Michutz La'aretz La'eretz Yisrael Adonav Alpha Pisha Adonav Yisrael Acher Shebarach Michutz La'aretz Lo Yoshev Lo Aval Yishacher. Okay, right. But then 255. Is that? That's one that I wanted to look at. 255.
Well, do you make before you return it?
Say again?
Do you make before you return that?
I didn't. I didn't see it. Let me look further. Also, you got to free him. V'yichtov alav damav b'chov. You got to, I guess, get the money back.
Because he owes his value.
Yeah.
He frees himself kind of into his
right. He's probably getting Shebe'evet Shebarach Mechutz La'aretz Eretz Yisrael Kas B'davar She'yeh Hadin Zeh Sheyichtov Shtar Chov B'damav Alav Yichtov Lo Get Cherus V'lo Yashuv La'avodasa B'shum Panim Lis Tofavo B'macham Tahor HaNivchar B'kibbutz HaNechbad. Yeah, sounds like it's since he went to this to take shelter in this pure place that is the choicest and most revered. Yeah, sounds like it. And then
if this is like conceptually like because of some idea of Eretz Yisrael.
Oh, okay. I was thinking of some idea of Yetzias Mitzrayim. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, also that would be.
In 255, it says Shehisiranu Gamke Me Onas Ha'eved Haborech Elav. So you can't be one him. Who Amro Yisrael Imacha Yesheb Kirbecha Betov Lo Tonenu Lashon Sifra Lo Tonenu Ze Onas Devarim. Okay, so you can't verbally afflict him. Ki Kamoshe Hisir Yisrael Lav Onas Hager Lechul Shaso Ugenuso Hosif Gamkein Lav Shlishi Benos Ha'eved Shu Yoser Chalosh Nefesh Ushfal Yoser Minager Shlo Tomru Tomar Zeha Eved Lo Yisbayesh Meonas Devarim. Wow, so it's like further preventing affliction of a low class person. That's really interesting.
Wow.
Yeah, that's different than African American slavery and policies there. 256 Shlo La'anos Yasam Almana, not to afflict the Yasam and Almana.
Sorry, what specifically were you thinking of?
Meaning that like the whole idea of the way that African Americans were treated after they were freed, ours, we have a separate isser to afflict someone who escaped illegitimately to Eretz Yisrael and got freed, like an escaped slave. Yeah. And we can't return him, which is another problem in American slavery. Shelo la'anos yasam almana, shnemar kol almana v'yasam lo sa'anun. Don't afflict a widow or an orphan. It is interesting to me that that's one isser. That could have easily been two.
There are other things where it's distinguished between the yasam and the almana.
Right. I mean, we had the that mashkon thing just for the almana.
Yeah.
Maybe because the yasam doesn't have his own control over his property. I don't know. 257 Shlo lavod be'eved ivri avodas eved. You can't work him with the work of a slave. Shnemar lo savod avodas aved. You shouldn't work him with the slavery work. 258 Shlo limkor osod mimkeres avadim. You shouldn't sell him in like a slave trading way, right? That's like a degrading way. Shnemar lo yimakro mimkeres aved. You shouldn't sell him in a slavey way. And then 259 Shlo lavod be'eved ivri befarech. Befarech, you shouldn't work him with the ego-depleting labor. That's the making him do senseless tasks. Shnemar lo sirde befarech. You shouldn't oppress him with farech. Shlo lahaniach goy laavod be'eved ivri hanimkar lo befarech. You shouldn't allow a
goy to work in Eved Ivri.
Right. Yeah. To work in Eved Ivri that was sold to you befarech. Right. Shnemar lo yirden befarech le'einacha. You should not work befarech in your sight. I mean, not on your watch. Shelo limkor ama ivriya la'acher. You shouldn't sell a Hebrew maidservant to another. Shnemar lo yimshol machra b'vigdova. You should not limshol. I don't know what the limshol here is. Odd word. Exert mastery. He shall have no power, seeing that he dealt deceitfully with her. Oh, b'vigdova is not her beged. Yeah. Okay, I actually have to go now because I have to meet with someone.
Okay.
But that was a nice amount.
Yes.
All right. So let me color this here. Okay, good. All right. Well, we'll unless something goes horribly awry, then we should be able to finish this week.